cornfield calm, Midwest tone, but he's spitting facts like a dog with a bone. Lanky frame, fire-haired eyes on the case, breaking down the game and the darkest place. Sports scores to murder boards. Hoosier logic cuts like swords from Friday lights to chalked out lines. This redhead's brain rewrites the lines inside the Hoosier mind, where the stories twist and stats unwind. He's a legend in flannel, mic in hand, digging deep where few can stand. From touchdowns to crime scenes raw, he's got the truth in every draw. Yeah, step in if you dare to find what's brewing inside the Hoosier mind. He'll talk Pacers, Colts, or Colts on trial. Hoosier humor with a devilish smile. He's that redhead sleuth with a box of clues. Takes your headline, breaks the news. With every stat and every scream, he's painting portraits in your stream. Don't blink, he'll tie it tight. From game night wins to murder flight. Inside the Hoosier mind, where the facts hit hard and the lines are blind. He's a ginger ninja, smooth and slick, cracking cases play by play quick. From courtrooms to the hardwood floor, he digs for more than just the score. Tune in and don't rewind, you're deep now inside the Hoosier mind.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome in to Inside the Hoosier Mind, brought to you by Military Broadcast Radio, helping give veterans a voice, as well as Gunfighter Beard Co. If you want great beard care products, definitely check him out because he's got great stuff. I can't complain about anything that he's got going on. But Mike, do you smell it? Do you smell what is in the air right now?
I could smell you.
It smells like football, buddy. That's what it smells like. It smells like football in the air. And, of course, with that, though, we get to all of the stuff, all of the drama now that we're getting into training camp. Preseason officially kicked off last week. So we got a little bit to talk about as far as some of the news updates. You know, what's Kansas City going to look like this year, especially since Justin Fields is potentially going to be quarterback one for the Kansas City Chiefs as it rolls in. I know that's our boy. I know you and I both are big fans of Justin Fields. We've got a official breaking news that Kyler Murray is officially quarterback one of the Minnesota Vikings. Is JJ McCarthy, is he done in Minnesota?
Could have told you that the second they signed Kyler Murray, by the way. But
you and I have both never been high on JJ. We'll get to that though. We'll get to that. Then of course we'll talk about some of our NFL rookies that Mike and I think you should keep an eye on. If we have time, we might do an MVP predictor, and then of course the question that every sports talk show, every sports debate show has brought up this year: who's going to be the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? And it's funny because we had this exact same topic last year because the exact same problem was the same as it was last year.
I think we have this conversation every year, if we're being completely honest.
Oh, my God. It's so bad. It's like you guys fumbled Baker. But nonetheless, though.
Is it like – and I don't want to turn this into a whole different tangent. We can do that later. But, like, just to, like, rip the Band-Aid immediately, like, is it the biggest historic fumble to sign a quarterback to that contract? And ever since inking that contract, it has just been every year of asking who the starting quarterback is. It's everybody but Deshaun Watson. And that, to me, Tony, it has to go down as the worst contract in NFL history, doesn't it?
It's got to be up there, at least top 5.
Yeah, top 5, if not top 10. I agree.
Because honestly, I feel like the Kenny Golladay for the Giants, he's fighting for that top tier spot.
Fighting for his life, brother. I'm not
literally. But let's get into the first part with our boy who, he's not fighting for his life anymore. Hopefully he's living a good life in JF1 and Justin Fields. Now, Mike, this is kind of interesting because I've heard a few different things, and somebody even brought up the theory. Nick Wright, obviously, he's a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan. He loves Patrick Mahomes, all of them. Greg, if you're watching this, I need your input. And Mike, if you want to clip it into a TikTok for him and tag him, let me know. The theory is he's healing, well on track, that he's even potentially supposed to be maybe even on the fast track to making it to being quarterback one for week 1 Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos. But I think in the meantime, it seems like Justin Fields is going to be, taking the reins. More likely, he's probably going to get a majority of the snaps in preseason, if I had to bet, or maybe the kid that was Mahomes' backup after Gardner Minshew went down. I don't remember his name. It's like really out there. But nonetheless, though, what do you think Kansas City's expectations are? Because they signed Kenneth Walker. That's a good signing. I liked Kenneth Walker. Watching him at Michigan State there for a year. He had an amazing season that year. Great time with Seattle. Obviously won the MVP for the Super Bowl. Got a Super Bowl ring with him. They let him go. He's probably the best running back he's had since, believe it or not, pre-Kareem Hunt. Like the first time Kareem Hunt was there.
That was like 2017 too. That's a long time.
Right. So, I mean, what do you think Kansas City's expectations are for this year?
The expectations is a championship. And I think they do a great job of really creating an environment and a structure to withstand that, where it's like you still have the pillars on both sides of the ball that are going to be the big names. They're the big guys who have been there, done that. We had the Super Bowl MVP in 2025 and Kenneth Walker, who I've seen a lot of negativity about Kenneth Walker over the last couple of days. I saw he's been in multiple scuffles with the defense already, kind of getting into it at training camp. And some people love that. Some people hate that. I don't know really where to put it, but I will say from a K9 track record, from what we've seen from him, both in college and just overall in the NFL, I think he's a pretty solid dude. I don't think he's shown you any other reason to think otherwise. I think maybe he's just in a new environment, trying to make his place, showing he's that guy. You do want to check that out and look into it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really cool to me to kind of see all that going on and everything that's transpired so far. I do think with Patrick Mahomes, the expectations is championship, brother. I don't see why not.
And do you think it gives him probably the best opportunity now? Because, like I said, Nick Wright is a huge fan of them, and he kind of brought up a really good point that Kansas City hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher almost the entire time Mahomes has been there, and he's still managed to win even without that. But now that he's coming off of injury, it's an injury that now is just so common, and guys are able to come back and they're still able to have successful careers. It's not like it was, 10, even 15 years ago. So it's better, and let's be honest. Can you honestly, tell me that when you look at the Chiefs wide receiver room that you don't kind of have some question marks? Because, Rashid Rice, he had the incident. He spent 30 days in jail. Now he's back. Can he keep that attitude? Can he keep himself out of trouble and doing something crazy? I know Xavier Worthy is on there. He looked really good at Texas, but it seems like he hasn't really gotten a chance to shine, and maybe that's just because of the injury. But I know one of the other big things that really hurt them last year was the O-line. The O-line was really bad. We've always seen Mahomes scramble, and we've always seen him kind of have issues with his O-line. But it felt like last year that was really their big Achilles heel. And so do you think that with the addition of Kenneth Walker, both as a running back and as a pass catcher, do you think that elevates them to like a new position where it's like, okay, they're kind of like the Warriors of old. Like you can't count them out because there's just so much experience. There's so much chemistry together. It's like, man, if they get there, they're going to be dangerous. If they can just get close to the dance into the playoffs, they're going to be dangerous to have to deal with.
I think that's like the perfect analogy is they are the Warriors. Patrick Mahomes is your Stephen Curry. Like at the end of the day, as long as he's there, you have a chance. And, maybe other people feel differently. We can have a different basketball conversation during basketball season, but Andy Reid is way above Steve Kerr in that way. So you still have a guy like Andy, and that's why I do want to pivot, not the conversation, but more so the goal. Kenneth Walker since 2022 has only had 1 year with 1,000+ yards. He had 1,027 yards in 2025. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say Kenneth Walker doesn't get 1,000 yards this year. And the reason he doesn't is because of a guy like Andy Reid, who's going to be able to utilize a guy like Justin Fields in the backfield or as a wildcat quarterback. I believe Justin Fields is going to be able to be that guy in moments when you don't want to put Patrick Mahomes in those certain situations. Obviously he's coming off an ACL tear. He is your pride and joy. He is going to be everything. He is poster boy number one. The train starts and goes with Patrick Mahomes. Now, you need guys to help you get there. At the end of the day, some guys to help. I like Justin Fields is going to be able to utilize all of the momentum, all of the potential opportunities seen Andy Reid run very early on in Patrick Mahomes' career. So I'm really excited about. I will say this. Feel about any of the wide receivers right now. I don't know how I feel about Rice. I don't know how I feel about Worthy. And I think it all starts and finishes with Patrick Mahomes. And why I say that is Rice, obviously, a lot of that's off the field. On the field, I think he's a top 5 caliber wide receiver on any given Sunday when he's on the field and healthy. But a guy like Worthy, I think it's unfortunate to not have Patrick Mahomes fully healthy during the offseason because he is going into year 2, if I'm not mistaken. And it is a conversation where it's like you want him to get those reps during the offseason with his QB1 to continue to build that. And the last guy, and it's an unfortunate one because, Tone, I don't know how we've talked about the Chiefs this long and not said his name. Travis Kelce. What version of Travis Kelce you're getting? I definitely think hinders or elevates guys like Rice and Worthy. Now, if a guy like Travis Kelce at this point in his career is just a decoy and we're really just looking at the next chapter of his life with the podcast and obviously the wedding of the year and all that other good stuff that's going on in Travis Kelce's life, I am a Travis Kelce fan. I am not going to sit here and slander the man for living his life and getting that bag in more ways than one because Marion Taylor is getting that bag while also finding love. So it's 2-1. Yeah. Happy for him. But, what version of Travis are you getting, especially after a contract extension, which we don't got to get into, but a lot of expectations with dollar signs that he just inked next to his name. So, I don't know, Tony. It's like you said, they remind me of the 2022 Warriors where it's like the pieces are there. If everything clicks, but you got to be able to count on the guys like Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole to have kind of the career years. You know what I mean? So you need the best from everybody, all hands on deck for sure.
And at least come up clutch in the big moments. I will say the only thing with Kelce, and you can kind of give me your thoughts. It seems to me when guys get to that point where they focus on more stuff off the field than they do on, and I think Kelce would be even realistic to admit this. It's like, hey, I got a whole lot more football, behind me than I do in front of me. Yeah. We know his time's coming to an end. There was even that big consideration at the end of last year. It's like, is this going to be the time? And I know a lot of us were like, we don't think he'll go out in that kind of note. Yeah. If they lose at least on their way to a potential Super Bowl or something, something to that effect, or if they lose in the playoffs, it's like, okay, we at least tried. Is like, I just can't keep going anymore. Now, maybe he does try. Maybe he just tries until the wheels fall off, or they're like, look, buddy, we got to cut you. We got to just take the Band-Aid and accept the L. But, we never know. Here's the other thing that I read earlier too, to kind of pivot back to Fields. Do you think this kind of revives Fields' career? Because you have to think about it. This is the best situation Fields could be in. He gets the true opportunity to sit and learn from one of the best quarterbacks. A lot of people would argue he's the GOAT. If you want to argue he's the GOAT of the current time in the current NFL, you could definitely say that. Sure. So he gets to sit back. He gets to learn. He gets to learn from an offensive mind like Andy Reid. Do you think if he does well enough in what more than likely is going to be limited capabilities that he does get, do you think this puts him on the path to being a starting quarterback somewhere again? I don't know about a franchise guy, but maybe it's one of those like, hey, we'll kick the tires on him for like 4 or 5 years, maybe kind of towards the end. We'll just see what we get now that he, has that chance to relearn and kind of be a quarterback again.
I think so. And I think, history's past has told you that it's never too late for anybody. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, all guys that just inked $100+ million after having pretty shitty starts as starting quarterbacks in the league. And Geno is kind of like that poster boy for that, and Baker as well. Where actually Sam went really high as well, if I'm not mistaken.
He was third overall.
Yeah,
he was third overall in the class with Baker.
Geno was 1 in his class, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He was a first round, yeah.
He was a first rounder.
Maybe he was second round.
Was he?
He might have been second round, actually.
Okay, my bad. It's been a while since Geno was a rookie.
I say he was drafted in like 2013, like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, granted, I was probably taking the Constitution test at the same time, so give me some grace if you guys are listening. But yeah, these are big dogs. You know what I mean? These are big name guys. And my point to why I say Geno is the poster boy for that is, like you said, he was drafted in the early 2010s and is now the starting quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders. So
the starting quarterback of the Jets again. He went back to the Jets.
Okay, sorry guys. It's been a long offseason. I'm tired. It's what the fuck. All right, that's fine. Golly, but yeah, whatever. So my point is cooked immediately. But I think the thing with Fields is this: when you look at a guy like Sam Darnold going to San Francisco and then going to Minnesota and then obviously rejuvenating his career, heading to Seattle, he wins the Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield proves everybody wrong. The dog days in Carolina, really trying to fight for a spot, even trying to play out guys like P.J. Walker and Cam Newton and so many others that were. Sam Darnold was also there. And then obviously you got a guy like Geno who drafted in the early 2010s and has been fighting ever since and finally got that big time contract. I think for me, Justin Fields is in a perfect situation to sit and learn. I love the video I saw of him the other day. I think you saw it on my story where him and Mahomes were walking to training camp and kids were yelling for Patrick Mahomes. Patty keeps walking and Justin stops. He runs over. He signs everybody's stuff. And everyone in the comments is like, "Way to show Pat how to be a pro, Justin." Like that's, but like that's the stuff that Justin doesn't have to worry about right now. Justin doesn't. Justin's locked in. Justin's having fun. He really the key word there is having fun again. Justin Fields finding the love for football. Not that he ever lost it, but getting sacked as much as he did in Pittsburgh and Chicago and New York. I mean, it was just a train wreck everywhere he went, from Arthur Smith to Bill Lazor and Matt Nagy and Shane Waldron and all these other guys. Or was it Shane Waldron? I forget who it was. Yeah. But it was somebody, and it just pissed me off more times than not, man. It's like Fields deserved a shot. I think Justin Fields is going to stay in Kansas City for a couple of years, and he is going to become a starting quarterback somewhere down the line. You have Andy Reid, you have Patrick Mahomes, and you have all the weapons in the world to really just make sure you're having the best time possible. I think it's going to be really exciting, man. I do.
Well, Joy just wanted to let you know that you're cute, Mike.
Thanks, Joy.
Say Joy's a sweetheart. We love Joy. So yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what does Kansas City do with Justin Fields. I hope he makes a good comeback, because I know you and I have both been high on him, both from when he was at the Bears. We
were on this show when he got traded from the Bears on St. Patrick's Day. It was the craziest. I mean, dude. That was it's always an interesting conversation. Not to change it. I know we're limited on time, but like to this day, I know 2 years later, 3 years later, that was the best thing that could have happened for the Chicago Bears. I am a Caleb Williams believer, and you know that.
Yes.
But it still hurt to this day. It was just one of those it's like when the Bulls traded Derrick Rose to the Knicks, and you were just like, I know it was what was best for the team to move forward, but at the end of the day, like, that's your fucking guy. When you believe in a guy, we all have that guy that, like, Johnny Knox is another guy that I'm still like, obviously the situation, but Johnny Knox is one of my favorite Bears of all time and always will be, and the numbers aren't going to show that, but what Johnny Knox was when he was a Chicago Bear, oh my gosh, man, that was the best time of my life.
Yeah, Joey, Mike has all the passion. Like, Mike really brings the energy everywhere he goes.
I try. I have anxiety 90% of my day, but the times I'm doing this, I have a fun time.
I hope so, buddy. I know I do. But speaking of guys that we think, their time in the spot where they've been drafted might be over.
Yeah.
The ESPN announced it earlier that that JJ McCarthy has been demoted to quarterback 2, and that Kyler Murray is now quarterback 1 there in Minnesota. And I know our boy Randy, if you're watching, you're not sold on Kyler, but
No.
Mike and I have never been sold on JJ. And I remember a few years ago when we were talking about it, we were talking about right before JJ got drafted and whatnot. You're like, man, tell me about this JJ McCarthy. I'm like, dude, he's not it. Like, and of course everybody's hyping him up, and everybody's like, oh, he's like 27-1 in college. He only ever lost 1 game to that Cinderella TCU team, and I'm like, that should be kind of an indicator. Like, they ended up getting destroyed by Georgia.
Well, you told me, you were the guy that said, watch the games and tell me what you think. Mm-hmm. I texted you after the national championship, and I said, that man threw 10 passes.
Yeah.
And you said, yep, national champion though. And I said, yeah, 100%, just got drafted in the first round for that reason. But I made the video the second they drafted him, and I said, Minnesota, and I don't want to turn it into a different thing. Like I said, I'm trying to be good on time today.
No, you're good, buddy. You're good. Take your time.
Tony didn't let me on the show for 4 months because he said I had to learn how to shut the fuck up.
That's not true.
But,
never, buddy.
No, bro. I was so afraid of the Minnesota Vikings, and still am. I know Randy's not sold on Kyler. I don't need you to be sold on Kyler. I need you to be sold on Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson, and I don't know who the hell is in that backfield anymore, but
I think Aaron Jones still is.
Is he actually? I have no idea.
So.
Old man Jones is still doing his thing.
He's still rocking it.
I just know you give him a I mean, look how good they were with Sam Darnold. Like, you know what I mean? And that's not Sam Darnold and Kyler Murray. Are we really going to say that's like, is the gap this or is the gap this? I would say it's closer to this than it is to that, because it's not that far off. And I know that's very disrespectful to a quarterback that just won a Super Bowl, but that's where I'm at with that. But man, JJ is fucking dog shit, and it makes me feel so fucking eager to fucking call him 9. You know how sick I was week 1 when this kid went ape shit against the Chicago Bears. He just went absolutely fucking bananas. It pissed me off to my core. And it's because I knew the guy wasn't good. I was like, oh my God, he just had his best game. That's his career game. It's going to be against the Bears. And the Bears still suck, and that's what everybody's going to say. But guess what? End of the day, you saw what you needed to see, and that's all I'm going to say. But it was Tone, that pissed me off.
You want to know what's funny too, and I don't know why I remember it, and maybe it's just because I'm a super petty asshole, like I really am. I remember this dude in the comments on when you and I don't know if it was like when he got drafted, I don't know if it was like the beginning of the season, I think last year. I remember this Vikings fan commented on one of the videos on TikTok and was like, these guys just hate JJ. Like, I can't wait for him to just come out and be an absolute stud in the NFL. It's like, I am 1,000% that guy. I don't care if it's 2-3 years later. I will 100% respond to that comment. Be like, so how'd that comment turn out for you there, brother? Like,
and I will say this, like, I love that you're saying that, but in the same breath, I will say this. I won't say it's officially the end of 9. I think when you're sitting holding the clipboard, watching Kyler Murray be a pro, and then you have a guy like Kevin, I definitely it's kind of very similar to that Justin Fields treatment where it's like, I know it's nowhere near Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes level, but what Kevin O'Connell has been able to do is insanely impressive. And then obviously you got a guy like Kyler Murray who's just been there. He understands what it is to be a high draft pick and obviously get moved out. And it's kind of like any given Sunday, man, he's a perfect indication of like, look, this is how you can lose your job. But also for Kyler Murray, he can show this is how you get a new job. You know what I mean? Like not only am I a guy who's lost my spot, but I'm a guy, and by the way, lost it to Jacoby Brissett. Not even like, Beck is going to do Beck things, I believe. You lost that job to Jacoby Brissett at this moment in time. But
well, and so here's the thing, because I have two questions that kind of go with that. So I do agree. I don't think it's the end of JJ's career. I think if Sam Darnold taught us anything, if you happen to go to the right spot in the right situation and everything just clicks, anything is possible. But here's the thing I want to bring up though. You look at where Sam started and look at where Sam is now. He was drafted to the Jets, dumpster fire. Then he got traded to the Panthers, dumpster fire. Goes to the 49ers, gets to learn, from Kyle Shanahan. Obviously, he backed up Brock Purdy, kind of filled in a couple times there, didn't really do anything crazy, but was just there, like you said, sitting on the sideline learning a clipboard. Then goes to Minnesota. JJ's supposed to be the kid, and then Sam gets his opportunity, and kind of the same thing that Kyler is walking into now. He's never had a setup like Minnesota. He's never had a Justin Jefferson. He's never had a Jordan Addison, a TJ Hawkinson. If I'm going to say, just because I don't know off the top of my head, an Aaron Jones, the backfield, an above average offensive line, and an above average defense, all complementary with a really good offensive minded head coach. And Sam Darnold absolutely goes off, gets the contract to go to Seattle, and obviously wins the Super Bowl this past season. So it's not impossible. What does it say for JJ though? Because you came into a really good situation, and it wasn't like you necessarily had to be the guy right off the bat.
Yeah.
Obviously, he gets hurt. There's nothing really he can do about that. Guys get hurt all the time. But you had a whole entire year to just sit, study, learn. Obviously, last year he was able to play in some games. It was kind of his quote-unquote rookie year last year because he finally got to play. But what does that say, though, now that you've been in the system for going on 3 years? And, nothing against Kyler Murray, but Kyler did pretty good with a whole lot less in Arizona. Like, he got Larry Fitzgerald towards the end of his career. He wasn't ever really able to pair up with Marvin Harrison Jr. much just because of, his own personal injuries and conflicts and whatnot with the Cardinals. So it's not like he's had a whole lot of help. But, man, if you're JJ, like, you have one of the quote-unquote quarterback whisperers and offensive geniuses, and you're once again being put on the bench for it, for a guy that either he's just physically outplaying you as an athlete, which there's not really a whole lot you can do about that, or mentally he's just not making the same mistakes that you are. And I get it, you're a young quarterback that you have to grow into it, you've got to learn. But, man, it's like when you look at some of the guys that are considered offensive geniuses, Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, like, when you screw that up, does that not hurt you to go really anywhere else? Because it's like, man, if you can't do it in their system, and again, with the same weapons, like, what are we doing?
I hear you, and I'm looking down. I feel so bad. I hate looking down when we're on a show, but I'm like, my keyboard is like jacked. If I click the letter J, it just spams the letter J. So I'm trying to figure that out. So I'm using my phone just to look up stats.
Is that for JJ? Like, it's just stuck on J for JJ?
I look up JJ, and it's like J, and I'm just like, all right, bro. But yeah, I mean, looking up JJ's numbers and looking at what he's been able to do, I believe it's 11 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in 2025, and then a little over 1,100 yards. That's unacceptable when you have Justin Jefferson at the helm. And Justin Jefferson's a guy kind of like the Randy Moss treatment, where it's like at some point, and if not already, you've outgrown Minnesota. And it will turn into him playing for maybe not the New England Patriots, which that would be very full circle if he did end up playing for the Pats.
Full irony.
Yep, full irony, and it's there. Or a guy like the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, here's Rice. Take Rice in Minnesota. We'll give you a couple firsts. Give us Justin Jefferson. That's boom. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, Kenneth Walker. The future's bright again. You know what I mean? But that's how quick things can turn. Or even San Francisco. Like, figure it out in San Francisco. Hey, we don't have to do an episode about Brandon Ayuk. I don't think we have to. But
I ain't gonna lie. You want to know what I would love to see though?
Mm.
I'd love to, and I don't think it would happen. Although knowing them, they might, just to completely burn it and then be absolute dog water for the next probably like 8 years. Man, just imagine Justin Jefferson, Joe Burr, and Jamar Chase all together once again, just
I know
like
you love it.
2019 LSU.
I
Like,
know you'd love it, bro.
can you imagine the terror on NFL defenses if you had those three dudes? Like, that offensive line would probably just be a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
But man, if Joe can get the ball out to him, it's over.
See, that's
It's
the thing,
over.
though. That's the thing. The unfortunate part in that is I'm a Joe Burrow believer, and you know that, and you know this. I love Joe Burrow, but it's hard enough when you have a backup quarterback in for Joe Burrow because he gets injured again, and you have an upset Jamar Chase.
Yep.
Now you're going to have an upset Jamar Chase and an upset Justin Jefferson, and no money to play with, and no leveraging conversations because everyone in the league is going to know you can't afford to keep them all. I will say this. That is a Madden wet dream. If you could find a way to keep T. Higgins too, I don't care who your running back is. It could be Tony.
I think you'd have to give up T. Like, I feel like that'd be the only halfway comp of just getting something back besides picks.
If this was a 7-on-7 type of league, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson every day that ends with Y. But definitely don't see it for the future. It's interesting though, man. I love it. I think, and like you said, not to get off topic, but like, excuse me, with the JJ McCarthy stuff, would you say right now JJ McCarthy is closer to Drake May or closer to Trey Lance?
Ooh, honestly, I would say Trey Lance, and I say that because. And here's what's bad. I can't even really say he's close to Trey Lance because Trey only had one starting season at North Dakota State.
Yeah, there's a COVID season he opted out of.
And there wasn't a lot of film on him. Like it was just a hey, there's raw talent. Like he's a big body, he's athletic.
You know what it was too, though, right? Like you know the lore.
What?
You ever look? This is Mike allegedly. I have no idea, but Colin Cowherd was like the biggest Trey Lance supporter, and like the rumors were that like
he was dating his daughter, wasn't he?
That's what I was.
That's right.
You know, Trey and his daughter were either dating or friends or whatever the case was.
They were dating,
and something like that, and like it really like Colin really promoted them. And I'm not saying Colin did that like by any. I think he just liked him as a talent. He liked him as a person. And Colin believed in him, and other analysts kept pumping him out, saying he was going to be the next big thing. And fuck that. They knew what they were doing. You and I talk about it every year. There's always two guys that the whole league is just like, these are the guys, and they're fucking dog shit. And JJ was one of those guys. Michael Penix, no disrespect. Michael Penix was the other guy who they all said, this is the guy. And he's not. And everyone knows he's not because either his frame or his injury history or whatever the case is. He's showing you he's not. I know he's not. We all know. I don't know if you feel the same way. I know he's not going to be the. Like when we talk about greats, I'm talking about greats. He's not in that conversation for me. I still have Jaden Daniels in that conversation. I believe the injuries are the injuries, but when he's healthy, he's healthy. But a guy like Michael, even when he's healthy, he's not going to outplay Josh Allen or Caleb Williams. Oh, and that feels.
Does that feel good to say, buddy?
Say that again, motherfucker. Say that again, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I've been waiting 26 years to say some shit like that, baby. Tony, can I tell you my piss conversation really quick?
By all means.
I took a piss with Jay Cutler a couple weeks ago, man.
Ooh.
I'm in the bathroom at the National, the Rosemont Center. It was the greatest weekend working for iHeartRadio. I had a blast. It was a blessing. I want to say thankful to all the guys that made that happen. There I am. I walk in. Boom. Big Poppy walking out. Whew. I smell the colognes all mixing together. Probably thousands of dollars worth of colognes. That bathroom smells beautiful. It was crazy. My nose hairs fell out. It was nuts. I go, oh, that's crazy. And I go, I go to the farthest urinal. I always go to the farthest one. No one else is there. I don't want to be the first guy.
Yeah.
So Smoking Jay walks in. I see him with his Cubs hat. Go Cubs. And tallest guy I've ever seen in my life. It was so cool. Like I'm 5'8". You know I'm not the biggest guy, but like this guy walks in. I'm like, this is like literally you're telling me that I would have to sack this guy if I was an opposing defensive player. Like obviously that's a different. Those guys are giant as well. Right. But like man, he was a giant, bro. And he walked in, used the urinal right next to me, and I was just like, oh my god, it's Smoking Jay.
So he and I are the same height, but he's got about 41 pounds of weight.
And let's be honest here. That's probably NFL weight. What he is now as a drinker and a hunter and all the shit he's doing as a retired man, I'd add about another 20 to that, but maybe 30.
I say, but I mean, you can't beat Jay though, because Jay. I think if Jay would have been allowed to, I definitely think Jay would be smoking a cigarette on the on the sideline while he's in the game.
Did you see? I hate getting off topic, but did you see Aaron Rodgers playing on the other side of the ball the other day? He was playing defense. If you look that up, it's pretty cool. He was just being a pass rusher for a few minutes, and to see him do that at that age, I'm at this weird stage in my life. I'm at this weird stage where I respect Aaron Rodgers and I respect LeBron James, but a 12-year-old me would be sick to his stomach just hearing me utter words like that. But they're not our rivals anymore, man. I mean, it's over. Like you could just enjoy the show now.
I ain't gonna lie. I had the biggest, and for as long as you know me, I was one of the biggest Aaron Rodgers haters for like the longest time. But man, post like the Pat McAfee just meltdown where he's like, I'm coming for everybody. I'm burning every bridge I could find. If you smarted off about me, if you made a segment about me at all, he's basically like, here's the double bird, suck it. I was right. Like all this was like, okay. Like kind of the same way. It's like, man, if you'd have told me 10 years ago, like, man, you're gonna probably like Aaron Rodgers a little bit, like, nah, there ain't no way. Ain't no way. And now I'm here, I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, it was like, it reminded me so much of like when Caleb Williams on around the NFL draft, they asked Caleb Williams who his favorite quarterback was, and he said it was Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, but he said Aaron Rodgers first. That's who he molds his game off of. A lot of people hated that. I loved it from day one. I think a lot of people will sit here today and tell you, hey, well, fuck Aaron Rodgers and fuck Green Bay. And all that's true. I wore the Packers fans party with Diddy t-shirt yesterday to Six Flags, and I got so many supporters at Six Flags for that. It was
That's
so
awesome.
Cool. Oh, dude, I had one guy that was a Packers fan. He's like buckled into his seat. He goes, I'm not. I did not. I go, I heard you called him Sean. And then he was like, no. And he pulled off. And I was like, see ya. But, nah, dude, it's cool to see, like, us as we age, kind of like, damn, like, we was really hating for years, but if we didn't have no skin in the race, we wouldn't have cared.
If he wouldn't have been honestly, two things. If he wouldn't have been a Green Bay Packer, at the time, if he wouldn't have killed the Dallas Cowboys when I was a fan of them every single flipping second that he got a chance to. And then if it's like, man, if you just were such a douchebag, like every time I turn around, like, I need help, then quit asking them for more money. No, I need more money. Brother, quit asking them for more money so they can sign people in free agency, you douchebag. But anyway. But speaking of, because since we're reminiscing about when we were younger, our youth and dudes that have been in the league a long time and now coming to the end, we've now come to that point to where there's new blood coming into the NFL. There's new rookies, and we've only seen one preseason game so far. And honestly, I think the two names that probably stood out the most from that was both Carson Beck and Haynes King. Which shout out to Haynes King. I watched him a lot when he was at Georgia Tech and was a pretty big fan of his. And I'll tell anybody who, if you're just now seeing Haynes King from the preseason game, go back and watch his Georgia Tech highlights because that's how he played every single game when he was in college. He played exactly like how he played in the preseason. But Mike, buddy, do you have one rookie? Do you have a few rookies? Who is on your NFL rookie watch list?
I think I have a few. I think we'll kind of spread that out through obviously training camp and not spring training, pardon me, preseason. Mm-hmm. I'll give you one. I'll drop a nugget today, and we can keep going as we see more games and kind of more film on guys. But I'm going to say it early. Carnell Tate has the opportunity to win Rookie of the Year. And I'm extremely excited about it. This is a guy that I'm very firm is going to be one of the top rookie wide receivers in this class. I'm a huge Cam Ward guy. And it's crazy to say that because a year ago when I came on this show, I said I was not a huge Cam Ward guy. Mm-hmm. I didn't believe in the film. I didn't believe in the numbers because I felt like they were a little inflated. And there were also times where I just felt like you watch some of the film and you're like, this guy holds on to the ball too long, whatever. I'm really excited about him. I'm really excited to see him really get a number one option wide receiver. It's going to be really exciting to see Cam Ward. I think the more I watch Cam, the more I see he is a pro's pro. And it really is exciting to see Tennessee kind of get some love. I know Randy will never root for the Tennessee Titans. He's a Colts fan through and through, but it is cool to see Tennessee football really show up and show out. I know I saw a lot of Cam Ward jerseys at the National, which was really cool.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm really, really optimistic on Cam Ward right now, and I think Carnell Tate's going to give him that opportunity to really flourish at the big league level. So yeah, I think Cam has success, Carnell will have success, and I think it's going to be cool.
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say two names, but one of them I'm gonna say something might be a little bit controversial, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's gonna be my hot take, as we're gonna put it. So the first one, not the hot take yet. And I know it's just preseason, everything's super vanilla. Everybody's just fighting for a roster spot. Like basically all these dudes have already played each other in college, or if they haven't, basically still on collegiate level with some old dudes sprinkled in there here and there. I'm gonna be honest. I think Carson Beck starts by at least week 5 of this NFL season.
I don't think that's bad at all.
Like, I think that is a realistic possibility. And again, we'll have to see throughout the preseason, how does he look, whatnot. I think going from Georgia to Miami and now here, and basically he's had to be the guy because Brissett has been in the contract negotiations with Arizona. They finally got that. And obviously Jacoby kind of has some injury history. And don't get me wrong, I like Jacoby. He's not a starter. Like, he is a great backup. He is absolutely a great backup. He's absolutely a dude you want on your team.
He's a pro. He knows how to play the game. He can do 4 quarters, but that's about it.
And if your star quarterback is going to be out for like a short time, you need him to just keep you around 500 in like 4 games. He can do that. He can absolutely do that. But long term, no, I'm not trusting. My hot take though, and again, because I watched him in college, I watched him against the Cardinals. If he goes into the right situation and is truly fostered to grow, I think Haynes King could have a Josh Allen type of career. And I know you're like, what? Here's why I say it. Okay, so just bear with me, right? Hear me out. Go back to Josh Allen's rookie year.
Okay?
Terrible. Dude was not a pass. Like, dude could not throw the ball. He was running it. His percentage completion was trash.
Turnover god.
Like, it was bad, right? But then look at Haynes King. Like, again, if you don't know him, go look at his college tape. Like, he's not throwing 300, 350, 400 on you. He is not lighting you up surgically as far as what he's doing in the air. But with the ground game, with his legs, he's getting you 70 plus yards a game easily.
So I don't even want to cut you off. I want you to keep going because I think this is going to be an amazing take if it launches one day. But that comes with conversations.
Absolutely.
Uncomfortable. Not for me. Conversations.
Right.
And the biggest one there is a man of the name Bryce Young. And what they traded to acquire Bryce Young versus also on top of that making the playoffs last year. Again, finished 8-9. We're not going to sit here and act like it was the craziest season. It was a tiebreaker. Whatever. However they could crumble, they crumbled. But he did play pretty well after a really rough start to the season.
And even got benched.
He got benched at one point. And what I would ask is how far into the future, because we're talking like rookies this year and the impact they're making, be on the lookout. How far into the future are you even seeing this kid get an opportunity? Because I believe in what you're saying. I believe in you believing in this kid. But in order for him to get a shot, bearing injury, Bryce Young, especially after making a playoff berth, would have to be historically dog shit to lose his position. Truly.
Let's see. I'm going to pull up their schedule real quick. Here's the thing. I don't know if it will happen this season, but like you said, I think it would have to be a culmination of either really bad injuries or it would have to be Bryce just plays absolutely terrible. So
Yeah.
we'll go real quick through the Panthers schedule. We don't have to dive super deep into it. They do not have an easy schedule.
No.
Okay, they host the Bears September 13th. Then they travel to Atlanta. That's a toss-up. They go to Cleveland. Probably going to be a dub. Could be a toss-up. They host the Lions. Not easy. Then they go to Philly. Yeah, that's probably going to be an L. They host Tampa Bay. Toss-up because it's divisional. Then they go to Green Bay in late October. That's a toss-up. They host the Broncos, who have basically brought back everybody that was on that defense. And by then, Bo Nix should not only be back, but it more than likely will probably be rolling, especially the fact that they have Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton there, as well as some other weapons. Then they go to New Orleans. That's potentially a toss-up. They host Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Then they go to Tampa. Then they go to the Vikings, which who knows? Maybe Kyler and them are rolling by that point.
Could be a division winner there, in my honest opinion. That's a conversation.
They then host the Saints. Then they host Cincy, and again, depending on if Cincy is maybe rolling or if they're kind of fighting for their playoff lives to get in, like this could be a dogfight as far as Cincy wanting to keep their playoff hopes. Then they go to Pittsburgh, and then they host the Super Bowl champ Seattle Seahawks, who I think they'll probably take a bit of a step back, but I don't think they're going to be scrubs by no stretch of the imagination.
Sure.
And then they finish the year hosting the Falcons again. So I mean, they do not have an easy schedule by any stretch of the imagination. So I mean, if I'm sitting here looking at it, it's like, man, by what? It might be a very short sample size, but what, week 9, week 10 maybe? If they're potentially mathematically eliminated or real close to it, it's like, let's see what we got in the kid.
What round did they draft in?
That's a great question.
Sorry, buddy, I didn't mean to put you out.
No, you're good.
I do think there's validity to that. Like if it's 3rd, 4th round, like we'll see.
Oh, he was an undrafted free agent. So I mean, we've seen dudes have pretty good year. And to give you an idea of what his career was, Haynes King's career. So he had 3 years at Texas A&M. He started 2 games for him in 2021, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. 2022, he went 1-4, had 1,200 yards, 7 TDs, 6 picks, but 83 rushing yards, a touchdown. Now, Georgia Tech is where he really blew up. So Georgia Tech, 2,800 yards his first season, 27 touchdowns, 16 picks, 10 rushing touchdowns, 700 yards on the ground.
Wow.
Next year, 7-4, 2,100 yards, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, about 600 yards on the ground and 11 rushing touchdowns. And then last year, they went 8-4, just under 3,000 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, 6 picks, just under 1,000 rushing yards and 15 rushing touchdowns in his career at Georgia Tech. So again, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to be as good as Josh Allen, but looking at how he plays ball, what he does, and how he just tries to continue to extend and make plays, again, it would have to be in the right situation. I think if he stays in Carolina with how it is, I think they're doing better as far as how they're building it up. Obviously, they have McMillan that they drafted from Arizona last year. They got Rico Dowdle, I believe, still at running back, who isn't bad, and they've got a rotation there. Their defense is really solid. And then they have the kid that they drafted out of Tennessee that I'm kind of high on, but I think he's injured and might potentially be out. I think if they build the right pieces and get the right personnel in there, he could potentially have that Josh Allen type of hype. Now, again, I don't know if he'll ever get there, but as far as how they play, the style that they play, that's who he reminds me of.
You got me believing, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, I sold you on him?
Well, hey, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. You sold me on a lot of shit when you talk about.
I've done that before.
Shit for sure, but I am a connoisseur in believing in random guys, So I'll check out. I'm gonna check out right now. Haynes King rookie card, and we'll see what's up if I'm interested.
And hey, I have sold you on some I've been right about because I was right on JJ. I was right on JJ the whole time. But we'll move on though. So we'll move on. Do you want to talk about potential MVPs, or do you want to talk about the Browns quarterback room?
I would, honest to God, you want my honest opinion?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we've talked a lot of shit quarterbacks today, and I think we should end on a positive note when we talk about winners.
That's fair.
Yeah,
and honestly,
sure.
And it's one of those. If I think he had a realistic shot of starting, I would say Taylor Green would also be on my rookie watch list. But that poor man, he's gonna be buried on the depth chart.
I know we're gonna end up on a clip edit one day when Malik Lemon wins Rookie of the Year for sure. They're gonna be like, "These guys don't know what they're talking about." I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, all right, brother."
Wait, Malik Lemon, isn't he the one that got drafted by Philly?
Yeah.
Nah, sit the fuck down. He ain't getting. Sit the fuck down.
Fuck Philly.
Fuck Philly. And that means Jalen Hurts have to throw the ball. Anyway,
and by the way, throw the ball to Lemon, not
Lemon.
Devontae Smith or Saquon Barkley or Goddard or all the other millions of weapons. You know what I mean?
Right.
If AJ Brown wasn't getting the fucking ball, brother, makes you think you're getting the fucking ball. That's all I'm saying. I'm a AJ Brown believer.
Hey, they got all those weapons, and you know what those weapons are designed to do? Push a full-grown man's ass into the end zone. That's what they're designed to do.
Block. Go grab some. Go grab some buns, brother.
Go grab full cheek, double cheeked up. Don't let go neither. But anyway, speaking of, because he ain't going to be included in my MVP predictor. But Mike, buddy, who do you have potentially winning the NFL MVP? Because honestly, I feel like this year, that conversation is wide open. Now, I know a lot of people might have it just like gifted to Matt Stafford. Like, I'm just saying, look, man.
Fuck that.
Hey, I guarantee people have already, like, since Aaron Donald's back in practice pads, I guarantee they've all but handed Matt Stafford that trophy.
Check out that video on Inside the Who's Your Mind TikTok if you haven't seen it already. It's a little underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. The guy that went after him obliterated that sled, and Aaron was just kind of like, huh, you know what I mean? And I get it. He's warming into it. It's been a while. He's been hanging out with his daughter and, you know, whatever the fuck Aaron Donald does in the offseason.
Right.
You want my truth?
Absolutely.
Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett, and the Los Angeles Rams are putting together one of the greatest super teams to stop one man.
Caleb Williams?
That's the Iceman, baby. I'm telling you right now, Caleb Williams is my MVP without a question. And I have not, in my entire life as a Bears fan in over 25 years, have ever had a conversation about a Bears quarterback winning MVP. Conversations about other players. Brian Urlacher, what he was able to do, never won an MVP, but like one of the best defensive players to plug in on any team. There's so many great talents that we've seen over the years. I have never seen a city, a league, and overall just a bunch of people buy in to one person. I was downtown in Fulton Market the other day, and I saw the Iceman sculpture, which was amazing. And I'm going to clip this and put the artist in the description below. We can check it out. I have never seen a mural made of a Chicago Bears quarterback who has played ever in my life. And it was the coolest thing in the fucking world, Tom. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give you a little story. I haven't said it before. I think Caleb Williams wins MVP, and it's not just because of his talent, but Colson Loveland's. I was with Rob Gronkowski at the National the other week, and I got to ask him one question. I said, Rob, one, can I get a picture with you? Obviously.
Of course.
And then two, I was like, do you think Colson Loveland's legit? Do you think he's the truth? And Rob laughed a little because obviously you're talking to one of the greatest tight ends of all time, and this kid's going into year 2. But he said he's solid. He's legit. And to hear that from Rob Gronkowski was just the coolest thing in the world. You know what I mean? Like, he's fucking solid. And I was like, oh, I started laughing like Rob. We're both laughing because I'm like, oh, that's like so sick to hear that. Colson Loveland and Caleb Williams are going to be the next Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I truly do believe that. You have Luther Burden III. You still have Rome Odunze. You have DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, which I'm really excited about. Ozzie Trapillo potentially coming back for one of those tackle spots. You still got Joe Tooney and everybody else. I'm excited for what's going to happen. Now, there's a lot of factors that play a role into that, how many games you win, and obviously the season you put together. Caleb Williams finished his second year as a Chicago Bear with the most passing yards in a single season by any Chicago Bear. Didn't hit 4,000, hit 3,900 and something. Pretty much there. Close. Yeah, pretty much there, especially when his receivers had over 15 drops on the year. But I think for me, Caleb Williams is going to win the MVP, and he's going to bring the Bears into this Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls style conversations where the Bears are going to become a household name in the NFL again, not just Walter Payton, Gale Sears, Dick Butkus, and Papa Hallis. We're going to be talking about guys from the 21st fucking century for the first time in a long time. And I can't wait, man. I think this is the year.
They say, and a lot of offensive guys, because you got to think the two biggest offensive guys that is usually talked about is Gale Sayers and Walter Payton.
Yeah,
like that's it. That's the two big dudes.
I mean, even as me, even and you as well. You know, you're in Indianapolis. You grew up watching the Bears. It's like, yeah, Matt Forte, Devin Hester, sure.
Yeah, Johnny Knox,
Brandon Marshall, sure. But
technically Alshon Jeffrey there for a few years now before he really kicked it off. But
same thing we said a few segments ago. Fuck Philly and fuck Alshon. I didn't like the way he acted when he won a ring.
That's fair.
But yeah, he said fuck Chicago. To be honest, I was after he said that, I was like, oh, I have a Jeffrey jersey. That broke my heart.
Joy miss. I'm not gonna lie, I miss Drew Brees. I miss the old school quarterback. And I know this is kind of getting off on a tangent. I haven't really given my MVP predictor, but a dude who deserved to win MVP at some point and never did. Bullcrap, by the way. Dude, when Phillip Rivers came back, even though it was Phillip Rivers, it was Phil, he's trash talking. I know we all enjoy Phil trash talking.
Yeah.
But it's man, to watch him come to the line, he's like, hey, he's doing this, he's doing this, he's doing that. You don't see that get broke down anymore by quarterbacks. And I don't know if it's maybe they're just doing it mentally and maybe they're giving other signs to other guys, or it's just F it, we ball kind of thing.
It's like that. Another one that I loved, and it's it's timeless to me, is Cam Newton and Clay Matthews. Remember when Cam Newton?
Oh yeah, it's that wheel route. It's that wheel route. Exactly. Oh yeah, watch this.
Yeah, literally straight to the crib too. Cam, that's why Cam will always go down as my favorite quarterback ever. But you don't really see the NFL have those mic'd up conversations anymore, or really just see guys breaking down a defense in live time. And maybe it's because they have different indicators to kind of show that. But I love dudes talking shit, man. Dudes talking shit is the best part of the game.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if you've seen it, but I think one of the funniest interviews I also watched, not just the Clay Matthews and the Cam Newton, but Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis. And they were salt and pepper, and he's like, oh, salt beans are going to the left. But they went to you, Tom. He's like, no, bro. Salt is you because you're white. It's oh, okay, I got you. So congrats to Luke though, because he got in the Hall of Fame, and same with Drew Brees. And we get to see Tony Romo getting arrested for a potential DUI, and he's currently on leave as JJ Watt's gonna take over as co-commentator.
Hey, watch that video though. He might get away with that.
He might. I say it was kind of weird. She would talk loud and then she'd go real soft so he couldn't hear her again. And I know personally, I kind of had the same issue. It's you got to keep talking loud. I don't want you to yell at me, but I mean, if that's what you got to do so I can hear you, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
And the same thing, he's like, look, I'm trying to make sure I don't get myself in trouble. I'm not trying to incriminate myself.
Can I get a phone call?
Right. I get it. So that'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. But as far as my NFL MVP predictor, funny enough, I also have Caleb. Now here's the only thing I'm worried about though.
Okay.
Only thing I'm worried about, right? I think last year the Bears had the benefit of what did people expect Caleb to do now that he had a good head coach, an offensive mind, and all of these weapons to really work with. He had DJ Moore, he had Rome Odunze, he had a rookie Luther Burden, he had Colston Loveland and Kmet, and then of course Swift in the backfield, and then a defense that the names and the expectations were all there, but they kind of failed to meet. So I think everybody was like, what are we going to get from Chicago? They have the potential, but is this kid going to meet it? Now, what kind of worries me is because they set that standard. That's what people are going to expect from the Bears now. So I wonder if people won't play the Bears harder. And I'm not saying that people don't give their full effort in games anyway, because I mean,
and it is a top 3 hardest schedule in the league right now.
Right, and looking at their schedule, I was like, "Oof, yeah,
it's rough.
That's a little rough." I mean, the Eagles. I mean, you ain't got to worry about the Jets, but you got the Eagles, like you got the Patriots, you got the Seahawks. Of course, you got everybody in the division as far as the Lions, the Packers, and the.
And I will before we leave. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, buddy. And you got the Bills, unfortunately, too.
Yeah, that was the one I was going to say, where it's like we're just facing a tough division. And just to give you a little mic at training camp for inside the Hoosier mind before we leave. So we got Kobe Bryant, which was our biggest free agency acquisition. It was chef's kiss, big safety. We moved on from Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard.
Mm-hmm.
He had a knee injury the other day. And a one-on-one with Cole Kmet, and it went from 8 to 10 weeks to 4 to 6 months. He's going to be out. So that's our number one safety. Kyler Gordon's injured. Luther Burden's going to miss the entirety of training camp and preseason with a groin injury. You also have Tyreek Stevenson, Braxton Jones, Kyle Monungai, Montez Sweat, and a couple others. Ozzie Trapello, who they're saying he wasn't even going to play this season because he tore a tendon that rarely ever gets torn at the end of the Packers-Bears game in the playoffs. Said he might miss the entire year. Now they're saying he's playing week 1. Don't know what's going on. My point in saying all of that, and yes, exactly. I am in a glass case of emotions right now. The Bears went from losing Kobe Bryant for the season to potentially getting Ozzie Trapello back by week 1. Luther Burden's coming back, but he's banged up. So many questions. Tony, I want to ask you a question before we get out of here and before whoever runs this network kicks us off. DJ Moore won back-to-back Packers games for the Bears, came up in the biggest moment.
Yep.
Won multiple games for the Bears, came up clutch when it mattered most. A lot of people gave him some shit for that last drive against the Rams. I don't. DJ is the man. I will never hate DJ Moore, but I ask you this. Who is the guy Caleb goes to in those situations, and who is the guy that you would rely on to be him? Is it Luther Burden or Rome in the wide receiver core, or do you think this team kind of becomes a Colson Loveland-led offense with Caleb Williams? Because DJ was the guy. DJ was the guy in the clutch moment that always came up.
I think honestly, until somebody separates themselves, I would say it has to be Rome. Only because, and don't get me wrong, I do agree that I think Loveland could be the guy that's, the Travis Kelce, the Gronk of the big catches, the big just rumbling body. The problem is him just being a big dude, and you can even look at this from Kelce and Gronk both. They didn't really have a whole lot of speed usually to go with it. Now they could run. I'm not going to sit here and say they're slow pokes by no stretch, but they're not the speedster. When you think about hey, we're down. I got to get a 40-yard chunk play and maybe something more as far as magic happens, what DJ used to do with them. It's got to go to a wide receiver. Yeah. And I think right now with Rome coming into, what is it, year 2 now or year 3?
3. Yeah, he came in with Caleb.
That this is your time, man. It's you've got to learn from DJ for the last couple of years. You got to learn from Keenan Allen, even if it was just for a year.
Yeah.
You got to learn from him. It's all right, man, you're the veteran dude in the locker room. You got to be the leader. You got to step up. That to me is who I would say it has to be. Now, I do think it is a potential. I think Loveland could be that guy, like you said, if we think that he's going to potentially be that Kelce or Gronk for Caleb as far as that security and safety blanket. And we've seen a lot of quarterbacks have those tight ends that they just fall in love with. Romo had Jason Witten for many, many years. Donovan McNabb had Brent Selleck.
Greg Olsen and Cam.
Greg Olsen and Cam. I know Jay didn't get to enjoy Greg Olsen, unfortunately, for as long or as much. Still baffles me to this day from 2010.
I still question, was that Jay or was that I don't know what caused that. It's interesting, man. That's the question: did Jay care? Did Jay? Because if I'm Jay, I would have been what? But I agree with you. I will say you made a great point last year, and it was the beginning of the season, and you play fantasy football. Rome Odunze was one of the top players in the first half of last year prior to having that foot stress fracture that kind of turned into the new normal for him. I think Rome really can have a great year. And I think if he can figure out his new normal and still be the big body that he is, like you say, like you've had DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and a bunch of other great dudes alongside you, and Caleb Williams throwing you the ball going into year 3. I have high expectations for Rome Odunze, but I also will say in that same breath, I think Colson Loveland's about to have a historic season from a tight end perspective. When we talk about tight end university and the guys who are going to be the focal point of that, I think Colson Loveland's going to be one of the most unguardable players in all of football. I think he's going to be a cheat code. I think in Madden, I'm going to be running tight and attack the entire fucking game, and I dare you to double team Loveland because I got Rome or Burden or whoever, Jade Walker. I got them running a post immediately following that. So I'm excited.
So here's my other question, and I think Joy will appreciate this a lot because Joy is a Saints fan as well as she's a Go Tigers fan. She's a Tigers fan because she lives down in there in Louisiana. Nice. Do you think Loveland has a Jimmy Graham type of career? Because you talk about a dude with speed who is a big – I mean, obviously Jimmy Graham was a basketball player, so like he's just a monster of a dude just constantly. But, I mean, he's kind of another one of those that I feel like because he was in the era of Kelsey and Gronk and whatnot, like he kind of gets forgotten about. Like, do you think he kind of has like the Jimmy Graham thing to him too? Because Jimmy Graham is kind of under the radar, and I feel like what also hurt Jimmy, and I mean also a former Bears tight end. Actually, now that I think about it, like he was great when he was with the Saints. When he went to the Seattle Packers, no offense, but the Bears. Like, he just wasn't there. But, man, when he was with Drew Brees, money. Yeah. Picture beauty.
I love it. I'm not going to duck this question, but I'm going to be truthful to this question. I think Colson Loveland's going to be the first Colson Loveland. I really do. I think Colson's in his own category right now, and the sky really is the limit. And, of course, you can get away with saying these things after beating the Packers in the playoffs, after winning the division in your rookie year. It's all going to come down to year 2 for Colson Loveland. You know, what you're made of when guys have tape on you and you are now likely going to be the number 1 option, number 1 target for Caleb Williams. We're going to see what he's made of. I think he's a phenomenal blocker. I think he's an amazing route runner. I think he's got the shimmy shake that we've all been waiting for from a tight end because a guy like Cole Kmet has cinder block feet at times. I'm really excited, but if I had to give a comp, I think Colson Loveland is in George Kittle category, where it's like an absolute monster, willing to run through a brick wall. Who's your favorite edge rusher? Who's your favorite nose tackle? All right, take his knees. You know what I mean? And then, you got one of the best safeties on him? That's cool. One-handed catch. He's awesome. It doesn't matter. Colson Loveland is that dude. He's got the swag. He's got the charisma. He's got that shit to him that you just don't see from a lot of tight ends in this league, at least nowadays. I feel like lately, I mean, the tight end classes over the last 4 or 5 years haven't been the greatest, but the last 2 years, the Brock Bowers of the world, the Tyler Warrens, the Colson Lovelands of the world, the tight end position is coming back. These aren't just guys who can catch the ball. Like, these are guys who are truly making some noise. I know that's long-winded, but, man, Colson Loveland, I love you, baby.
I say, if it wasn't for the fact that it's more than likely a quarterback award, like, would you put him in conversation for MVP?
Fuck yeah, I would. Colson Loveland winning an MVP in his second year? Fuck yeah, I would. If it was possible, like you said, if this wasn't a quarterback award, fuck yeah. Everyone's talking about Matthew Stafford. Let me tell you, crystal ball right here. What is today? The 11th of August.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, Matthew Stafford is going to get slap-dicked onto the IL. He is gone. IR, sorry, I'm still in baseball mode. He's going to be on that IR, and you're going to have guys like Puka, guys like Adams fighting for 50-yard games. Fighting for 50. I'm telling you right now, who's their backup? The kid, Georgia
Ty
kid.
Simpson. Alabama.
You're right. What the fuck happened?
Oh, Stetson Bennett. That's right.
What the fuck happened? I forgot about Stetson Ty. Bennett. I'm not going to lie. You got Ty, and Ty's cool. Ty's an interesting – you want to talk about rookies to be on the lookout for. That's a conversation. I don't think – and I hear you. I'm not saying he's good. I'm just saying I think when we talk about King, or Simpson starting, I would say the likelihood of Matthew Stafford getting injured at some point during the season is more likely than Bryce Young just completely becoming the worst quarterback to ever touch grass.
But you know what the irony is behind that, though?
What is that?
Bryce Young, Alabama quarterback.
Hey,
Ty Simpson, Alabama quarterback.
Hey, man. And we know how that is.
Ass. But anyway, but no, I mean, I could definitely see it, and it does kind of suck that it is primarily a quarterback award because like the last non-quarterback to win MVP was Adrian Peterson, like all the way back in 2012. So I mean, it's been 14 years since literally anybody other than a quarterback has won it. But I do wonder, man, and real quick because this is kind of a tangent, and this is where I actually wanted to go with this question, and then had a brain fart. And I know we've talked about it, but again, just to bring it up for shits and giggles, when we were talking about JJ, and I told you, I was like, hey, man, just watch the film on him. Like, I don't trust him. And it's like, oh, well, he didn't have to run. Like, he didn't have to throw. He's just a game manager. Like, he had Donovan Edwards, and he had Blake Corum as his two running backs. Like, he had the two best running backs in the league. Like, he didn't have to throw. Like, you could make that same argument that the mailman, Stetson Bennett, got carried by two defenses to two national titles back to back. And guess where they drafted this man? Sixth round. Sixth round.
So what are we fucking talking about? That's what fucking pisses me off. Stetson Bennett, back to back fucking national championships. Back to fucking back. Yes, he did have absolute fucking monsters on that defense. But he held his weight. Watch college football, man. I'm tired of guys who wait around late March to April to start watching all these YouTube highlights of college football. You got me into the game. Jim Cross, Randy Jowers, Tony Hollinsworth. These guys got me into college football and baseball. I watch religiously now. You watch JJ McCarthy. He's dick. Even in the championship games. 10 completions or 10 passes total?
I think 10 passes total.
Oh my God, in the championship game with Jim Harbaugh as the fucking head coach. He said spam HB dive the entire fucking game.
Yes, he did.
It was like, remember the Titans where he said, we're going to blitz
all night.
And it was, we're going to run the ball all night. And they did. And they won. Shout out to them. And they also may or may not have cheated, but that's a different topic. But the point I'm making is simply Bennett goes day 4 and this kid goes top 10. You tell me why. Why? Because he went to fucking Michigan and Jim Harbaugh is making calls. And you know Jim Harbaugh is making calls saying, hey, draft this kid. It's not the same when you go to Georgia. Also, you know how I feel about the Georgia logo. Too close to Green Bay. Not a fan.
That's who they mirrored it off of, actually. They actually asked Green Bay if they could have the copyright. They just had to change the colors.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Also, I don't have an announcement yet, but I want this to be known. Shy Kid, Mike Hughes, a lot of pain in my heart saying this. In the next couple weeks, I will be making a decision of my allegiance of college football and where I will be heading.
Ooh.
Tony V is out of the Tennessee Volunteers, and football ain't getting no better. So I've been hanging out around with Tony and Jim Cross a lot lately. Just know there might be a change of the guard, but we'll keep you posted.
So you ain't got to give this in, but what you're saying is LSU, the Tigers, is in consideration.
There's top 3. There's 3 teams.
Okay.
Do you like the list right now? Where I'm committed to.
Absolutely. I just want to hear. I won't judge, but I want to hear because you know me. I love college football. I'm obsessed.
Of course. Okay, so number 1, obviously, you're looking at the Tennessee Volunteers. Might stay put. Might not go anywhere.
That's fair. That's fair.
GBO.
Potential's still there. And I mean, Josh Heupel, he always has great offensive potential's there. That's fair.
Can they beat Bama? That's the only question.
They have. They split with them so far.
Yeah. And then I got LSU.
Okay. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Boomer Sooners.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Yep, my sister lives in Oklahoma. She married a guy named Jake, amazing individual, and he is a huge Boomer Sooner fan. So, yeah, I'm rocking with one of the three. I will let you know next time I'm on the show.
So, here's what's funny. You know what you're doing? You stay with the SEC, even though you live in Big Ten country, buddy.
Well, let me tell you something about just like the state of Illinois, Big Ten. It fucking sucks. It's terrible. Ain't nothing good about it. And look, bro, I just live in Illinois. You just live in Indianapolis. Today, I was awoken. I work at a school for people listening. I don't normally wake up at 10 a.m., but I was awoken at 10 a.m. because my phone was exploding because there was a tornado warning. I'm in the city of Chicago. There was no, and if you're watching this, I lived, and I'm still in the basement. So, was no tornado. And my taxes still suck, and the potholes are more scary than the tornado warning. That's
as somebody who lives in Indiana, yeah, our state flower is the traffic cone that helps block the potholes.
They're huge.
Oh, dude, they're monsters.
I loved Indianapolis though when I went back, and I can't wait to meet you when I go back up there, man. I went to I forget the name of the stadium, but it was.
I think it's Victory Field is what they call it.
Victory Field, yeah, the Pittsburgh Pirates Stadium for AAA affiliate. I was seeing Connor Griffin, and I got to see the Colts facility right across the street. What a cool boom boom, boom boom, and it's like that's such a cool thing for them to both be so close by.
Yeah, they're very centralized. Like I will say, the city does really well about centralizing everything. Everything's within walking distance of each other. Yeah.
The roads scared me though. I'm not gonna lie. It was downtown Chicago. If you ever drove there, downtown Chicago, it's a mix, but for the most part, it's two-way traffic. Yep. So this in Indianapolis, from where I was at least, it was just one fucking road, and I'm trying to find out is incoming traffic coming, and there's 5 fucking lanes, and I'm just it's kind of overwhelming, especially when you're trying to go from left to right, and you on the left, and you trying to go right. Oh, yeah.
Dude. I know exactly what street you're talking about too, because I'm oh yeah, there's 5 lanes, and dude, it's so confusing. It's such a pain in the ass. Unless you live here, unless you know, oh my god, it's such a pain in the ass.
It was scary, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's such a pain in the ass, but yeah, I mean that does raise the question, you live in the Midwest, so Ohio State's not in there, and I'm giving teams that have historically been good.
I want OSU to be in that conversation. And it sounds weird because they won a championship recently, but it just feels like a bandwagon move, even though they haven't won a lot. You know what I'm saying? They're not the biggest juggernaut, but I do feel like a bandwagon going to one of the big name Big Ten schools. And I don't know, I would love to. I remember strictly watching the Wisconsin Badgers for Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
I watched all of the Jonathan Taylor Badger highlights. I watched every game, but I wouldn't be a Badger fan. You know what I mean?
And plus, I'll be honest, you talk about rough football right now. Oof, Wisconsin's rough.
Still not the worst team in Wisconsin though.
No, they ain't.
21-3. 21-3. The Bears.
The Bears.
Wow.
But Mike, buddy, I appreciate you as always being on. It's fun as always. We got less than 3 weeks, and college football's back, and then we got less than a month, and NFL football's back. So, man, we ready. But you know what I'm really ready for? I'm ready for flipping jeans and hoodie weather. I'm tired of roasting every time I walk outside.
Dude, TMI bought new undies. No swamp ass this fall, bros. I'm excited for some jeans.
Right. But appreciate everybody tuning in, though. Thank you to MBR, Military Broadcast Radio, helping give veterans a voice, for hosting as always. Thank you to Joy for tuning in. She kind of hung out with us all night, talked with us, gave us some comments, gave us her thoughts and opinions. Always appreciate Joy having you in. And shout out to Gunfighter Beard Co. They're great beard care products, making your beard look good, making you smell good, making you feel good. All that coming into play. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you like me, of course, you can follow me on all of my social media inside the Who's Your Mind. I'll do the super corny share, subscribe, comment, do all of that. It helps me out. I don't make no money. I'm not trying to make no money like that. I just like talking sports. I especially like talking sports with Mike. And if you like hearing Mike talk sports, because Mike has the passion. Like, I can bring some. I can't hold a
Stop
can.
it, sir.
I
Stop
can't
it,
handle.
sir.
I can't hold a can.
Mike's tired. I need the Tony Hollandsworth drive. Mike's tired. I could barely hang on myself.
I say Mike is the cheetah. Like, he gonna go hard. He gonna go fast. Like, I'm the turtle. I'm just gonna keep plugging along at the same.
Hey man, Turtle won that race, by the way. I'm just saying.
He did. He finally got there. But nonetheless, if you like Mike's stuff, check him out at the Shy Kid. He covers all the great stuff. Da Bears, da Cubs. Not as much about da Blackhawks. I mean, you still cover him, but not as much. And obviously, when da Bulls come into season, they'll be covering the Bulls too.
It's more like a therapy session. I'm saying
I say, so if you want to see Mike pull his hair out, that'll probably be more so that.
Yeah.
But appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will see y'all next week as we get closer to football season.
Hi, I'm Beaker with Military Broadcast Radio TV. We're your virtual MWR, bringing veterans radio, podcasts, gaming, animation, 3D printing, and a community that never leaves you behind. Download our Roku or mobile app today.
Wisdom to share if you listen this week, so pull up a chair and stay for a spell. We're heading down a trail where good stories dwell.